Welcome to Free to Cook. In this episode, we're going to be cooking crackling crusted pork ribs. Ribs are a staple of low on slow barbecue, and I wanted to add a twist because this is our 100th video recipe. Thank you everybody for their support over the last year, and I hope this recipe is something fun, but also special. For a start, we need a good set of ribs. Make sure they're nice and meaty. Make sure to dry them with paper towel and remove the membrane. I like to start off by using my finger to find the edge before using paper towel to remove the rest. Next, we need to apply a rub. For this recipe, I'm using Sucklebuster's pork rub. It's an amazing balance of flavour and tastes great. Completely cover the ribs with the rub. Next, we need to light a chimney of charcoal. I'm using clean heat charcoal. Set up the barbecue using the snake method. If you need more information about the snake method, there's a great video on the channel. Add your choice of wood. I'm using some apple wood. Prep your barbecue and bring it up to a temperature of 250 Fahrenheit or 125 Celsius. Place the ribs thickest side closest to the heat. Let them cook for an hour, making sure the temperature stays level. While the ribs are smoking, we need to cook our crackling for the crust. Most butchers or supermarkets will sell you a piece of pork skin. Score on both sides with a checker pattern. This will stop the skin from curling up while it cooks. Place it skin side up on a tray lined with baking paper. Season with salt. The salt will help the skin crisp up nicely. Place in the oven on the grill setting at full heat. Let the skin crackle up nicely. It's important to keep an eye on it because once it crackles, it'll start burning shortly after. Now the skin is crackled, take it out and let it cool down. These ribs are starting to look good. After 2 hours of cooking, it's time to sauce and wrap. Lay out a couple layers of foil. Now place the ribs on the foil and brush with your choice of barbecue sauce. I'm using my homemade barbecue sauce recipe, which you can find in the description. For extra flavour, add some brown sugar and some slices of butter. These will melt into the ribs, creating more flavour. Repeat for the other side. Wrap the ribs in foil. Cook for another hour. Now that crackling's cooled down, it's time to chop it up. First, slice the crackling into manageable pieces. Chop the crackling until it has a crumb-like texture. Place in a bowl and set to one side. To finish off these ribs, unwrap them and place them back on the barbecue. Brush with barbecue sauce and let them cook for another 10 minutes. Coat with the barbecue sauce one last time. Now it's time to add our crust. Add a layer of crackling. It'll add a nice crunchy texture. Cook one last time for 10 minutes. These are looking beautiful. Time to take them off and let them rest. Once the ribs have rested, slice them up. There you have it, crackling crusted pork ribs, smoked with applewood and covered with beautiful homemade barbecue sauce. The crunch of the crackling adds a beautiful contrast to the soft, tender ribs. Thank you everybody for supporting the channel over the last year, and I hope this has been a fitting 100th recipe. And as always, if you found this recipe helpful, don't forget to share it, subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and if you have any recipe suggestions, leave them in the comments.